All right, welcome back, everybody. We have a great second series of our night here. About to get underway here. Vivacity taking on Iliad Artemis. And this should be an incredible game, honestly. You look at Vivacity, I think this is maybe one of the surprising teams here coming into this season so far. Granted, only week 3, but certainly currently 3-1 on the season, especially from a team that came up through those last chance qualifiers to get into Masters this season. I think this is, right now, maybe something that's surprising a lot of people. But if you've seen them play, you know that it is not a surprise at all. Iliad Artemis, though, they're a team 1-1 on the season so far. They are definitely a team that should be really good here, or at least one of those teams that could make the playoffs come the end of the season here. But already about to be heading into map number 1 here. It's going to be Busan. Surprisingly, no Li Zhang tonight for me, which I will gladly take, honestly. But already, it will be Iliad banning out the Zarya. And on the other side, well, Vivacity will have to wait. We'll have to wait for that one here for a little bit. But you look at both these teams here. Both these teams, 8 players on them. They have a coach. These are 2 teams that you have to imagine we're going to see a lot of movement around in them here tonight, especially depending on what we see at certain lines here, certain maps. But I will say this, from watching this Vivacity team a couple times already this season, this is a team that is well put together. Like I said, 3-1 should not surprise you if you've watched this team. They've been on fire to start the season, only losing 1 game to Kintsugi right before they blew up. Sorry about that. I hate that Kintsugi's not here anymore, and I think Vivacity would really like to have that game back at this point. But, hey, right now, this is a team that's looking very, very strong. A win here tonight, we kind of talked about it, me and Hunter did on Wednesday after our NA game. A win here tonight puts them at 4 wins on the season, and when you look back at past seasons, 4 wins is normally that area where it's like, hey, they're going to be sticking around in Masters for another season at least, which would be a really, really fun thing to see with this team here. But it looks like we're already going to see a sub coming in here for our first map, as I believe it was Savage that came out and Makoto that came in. And honestly, not the biggest surprise from what we've been able to see for Vivacity in a couple streams that we watched, and one of the streams I watched them play. Makoto is an excellent player. Excellent. Maybe one of the best players on this team. But on the other side, there's names that if you've been around FaceIt for a while, they are really, really good names. You have Painkare, a Duck on Quack, Maverick, Mardox. Those are names that have been around for so long. And Amadou as well. This should be a lineup that looks on paper to be probably one of those top 8 teams. Like I said, one of those playoff teams. However, still very early on in the season for them, as it's only, again, their 3rd game, while you have the 5th one going on right now for Vivacity. And also shout out to Vivacity for at least playing every game so far. Almost every game. But still, heading into Busan, no Zarya, so that really allows you to play a little more dive-focused competitions, especially on maps like Mecha Base and Downtown. I feel like a lot of teams do gravitate towards dive, maybe a little bit more poke, so you could see a little bit of that Sigma come out. Domina, maybe, but it feels like we don't see Domina that much anymore. It's actually a Lucio ban. Ooh, I like that. I like that early on from Vivacity here. While I'm going to quickly try to get everything set up for this right now. But, honestly, the Lucio ban, I'm surprised we do not see it more often here. I feel like we see Kiri, but Lucio is still mightily important, especially with both these compositions. Oh, wow. Had the bans right already. Sweet. Had the bands right. But Lucio is always very important. We always talk about meta heroes, and Lucio definitely falls into that category of being said meta hero. And maybe one of the most meta supports in the entirety of Overwatch. Granted, though, if you've been around, it's not a big shock. Up until Juno was added, that was the only hero that could really give you some speed boost, which is why, my bad, Lucio gets played here. So especially going into a map like Busan, where you want to be able to rotate around certain high ground positions and certain low ground positions, this is a really good ban coming out here from Vivacity. It does force you maybe into playing something a little bit slower, or really, like I said, playing that Juno instead, because normally when you get rid of that Lucio, Juno becomes the go-to in that spot. But still waiting on a couple players, I believe, from Artemis to get in lobby. Once that happens, we'll be heading in for our series here tonight. I do believe this was one of the series I did ask about for the predictions. Let me quickly check that. No, this was not one of the series I asked about for predictions. So, hey, don't have to worry about that this time around. But heading into Busan for our first map of our night here to finish off our FaceIt Friday doubleheader. Granted, Hunter's not here, but we're keeping it alive in spirit. Had an excellent one earlier tonight in South America, but now we come over here to North America to wrap it up. Vivacity going to be coming in here, like I said, 3-1. Iliad Artemis, 1-1 respectively. But what do we see from Artemis? What do we see from Iliad here? Artemis, I mean, Iliad, they've shown us this. I'm not going to say this Malga is a bait. It might be a bait, but we have seen this Malga from Axe in the past before, and it causes a lot of problems for other teams that just aren't fully ready for it just yet. That's going to be something that I think if you are Iliad Artemis, you have to get prepared for very, very quickly here, or else it's just going to continue to run straight through you here. But on the other side, you see Azure coming out here on this Sigma instead. And honestly, Paincare coming out on the May is a really good option here for them. It's going to really force... Okay, that was worrying there. But it's really going to force Axe in the spots where they kind of have to play slow here. But same thing with Amadou on this Bastion. Again, Axe just such a huge target. That Bastion could be very, very scared to. But you already start to see Iliad start to rotate around. They want to get to the high ground on the opposite side of point, while Axe is going to try to poke in, but they really can't do much here. Need a lot of healing. Already turret form forced out. As you do see Paincare kind of just hiding there, trying to play their own life. They're going to be able to do that. The support's going to be able to keep Axe up here as well, but still kind of hovering around that 200 health pool right now. You really can't do a lot here. Temper trying to find a shot on the railgun, not going to be able to. And Iliad Artemis going to get off to a good start here with our first cap of the point. Still, though, Temper trying to find something, but it'll be Floomfy on the Mizuki. I've been begging and pleading teams to play more Mizuki lately. I'm happy to be seeing it here and already find some value. And look at what that's doing here now to this Vivacity team. Just backing out almost immediately. Understand they really can't stay in this here for very long without their Soj. Temper, though, has been great so far in the couple games I've been able to watch this Vivacity team play here. But Amadou on this high ground, just pumping damage down the line. Already has the artillery online. Just going to throw it down that corridor. Going to be able to not find anyone there, but does buy their team some space. Axe, though, in the back line here, trying to focus in on Azure. Axe, though, trying to play their own life here. They will find one, but immediately be traded out there by Paincare. Over Ray out from Fern as everyone here on the side of Vivacity going in. Makoto, though, will fall. Not someone you want to see fall this early on, but I would not be surprised if we see a swap come out here from Axe. Kitsune Rush out from Mardox, who will be able to find one, or help Paincare find one, make it two, as Paincare so far off to a hot start on this May. 65% and counting. Only 2 ultimates used so far by Artemis, in a really good spot right here just to be able to keep this momentum going. You have Flux online. You're going to have Sanctuary overclock out now from Temper as they're trying to find off angles, looking for anyone. Not going to be able to do that now. Flux out here from Paincare, or from Azure, not going to be able to help Paincare find Morlock right now, but still Vivacity, they need to be able to find something here. Looks like they might get a back cap for free. Actually, no, they're not going to be able to, as it does seem like Paincare going to be able to take care of Makoto on point, and I do not see Vivacity getting one more touch here on this point. I would be looking at Axe. What an angle by me. Marlock tries to get, but they do get a touch actually, so I have to believe that is Makoto. No, it's, who is it? Temper? Yeah, it's Temper who finds a touch. Going to be able to get one more right here. Makoto will be coming back in with the Sundering Blade, looking for their angle right now, but struggling to find it here. Axe pops the cage, but not going to be able to find anything. Sundering Blade will find one, but the Blizzard from Paincare does find one more as well. But no touches come in there from Makoto, and it will be Iliad Artemis getting off to a strong start here this map, taking our first point. 1-0 in 100-0 fashion as well. And like I said, coming into this one, especially when we saw the compositions, that Malga that Axe was running, it's one that if the other team's not prepared for it, you could get run over. Well, I mean, you saw what we saw there from Iliad Artemis. Very much prepared for it, knew what they had to do, played it perfectly. That Bastion, I think, really did cause Axe to really kind of have to slow their roll and a lot of stuff. And you see it right there, Floofy Mardox, that support line here for Iliad Artemis, never dying once. A really good job by them. 35, almost the same healing for each right there is even more impressive, only off by 5. But outside that, just great play all around. Looks like some more swaps going to be coming out here from Artemis. On the other side, though, the only swap that we're seeing is Temper go over to this Venture, which I do like in this composition, but you need to be very coordinated here with Axe, who was just getting kind of focused out a lot that last point. Grenade out here as Amadou on this high ground, going to be able to help Pain Care, who has just been on fire so far. Temper, though, will find one, trying to focus now in here on Amadou. Going to be able to find those. Temper finds 2. Axe finally get going here. And if you're Vivacity, this is exactly what you were looking for. A really strong fight back, and you immediately get it. And I understand there's no game sound playing. My bad. But, hey, like I was saying, you need this kind of response here if you're Vivacity, because that first point, nothing went your way. Temper already getting caught out up there, just has to immediately ditch the high ground instead, focus more in on the low ground, but Axe now trying to play these off angles. Maybe the best person to play off angles. You already see one person going towards point here right now. Amadou is still trying to monitor the high ground here, focusing in onto Marlock, but now you see Makoto go right up there, immediately be forced off, but this is exactly what you want here if you are Vivacity, especially getting rid of Azure, now trying to find Marlock, who's going to be able to run away, but you're just already cleaning up this fight here. So again, like I said, you continue that bounce back here with another good fight win. You're trying to find one more, as it's not going to happen, as Makoto just kind of has to give up that high ground. Pain Care trying to at least drag this fight a little bit towards point. I do like it here, but it's going to be Mardox actually finding out Makoto to get everything going here. However, Axe goes charging in, gets rid of Floomfi, and Temper going to be able to come right back in and find one, but just Temper and Pain Care on this point, really. That's the main attraction at the moment here. Pulse Bomb going to be able to stick onto Axe. Fern uses that. Consuming Rush is going to be able to help Temper and almost everyone find Azure. But again, just staggering picks at this point right now for Vivacity, but still, that's a big improvement over what we saw them do on the last point. Final fight territory right now. Pain Carry going over to this far instead. I mean, you look over at the other side, there's really no hit scan outside of Axe and Morlock, but Amadou going to start this fight off here with the ultimate right there. Going to be able to find one, but Axe shuts them down almost immediately. Orbital Ray comes out there from Morlock, but now it's time for the Tectonic Shock. Point will flip here momentarily, but Temper, ever since making this swap here to this Venture, has just been on fire. Just digging up everyone. Flux coming out there from Azure, going to be able to shut down Morlock, but will we get a touch here from the Sigma? The burrow into the ground. I don't think we'll get to see a touch here, everyone. We are going to be heading to a .3 on our first map of the night. Kind of repeating what we saw back in our South American game a little bit earlier here tonight. But right now, again, let's take a look at the stats here. Like I said, neither of the supports died in that first map for Iliad Artemis, the red team. Well, 5 deaths combined that last time around. You saw the performance there kind of struggle, but I think you really started to see Axe come alive here on the Malga, played a little bit safer. But I think Temper on this Venture was just able to do so much. Being able to keep in check Pain Care, who got off the May, went over to the Tracer, just did not find the value there, and especially towards the end, they were on the far for maybe only 1 life in that last map, or that last point, and just really struggled on it. But there's no hit scan on this other side, like I said, so Pain Care on this far could definitely find a decent amount of value here pretty early on. And even maybe force out that swap from the other side. Especially with all the burst damage you could get onto someone like Axe. You could see Barrage get built up very quickly, but you see him just burning alive at the moment. And you already see a little bit of a split play coming out here now from Iliad Artemis as Azure just getting pressured out a little bit now. The charge coming in from Axe, not going to be able to find the stun, but now Axe, have they overextended themselves? No, Azure, though, runs away from everyone. Amadou, going to be able to find Fern, but you immediately trade out your tank, which is probably not what you want to be doing in this situation. Axe, though, going to go stall out this point for as long as it can, start to try to wrap it, or try to cap it here. Marlock, though, constantly finding Makoto has been huge, but Morlock comes right back onto Pain Care. Again, though, Temper on this Venture has just been a sight to see here throughout these last 2 points. But right now, Axe and Temper low on the point. Azure going over to this D.Va instead. Need a little bit more pressure coming out from the tank line. And I think this D.Va is going to do exactly that. Going to be able to eat up a lot of damage and really be able to put a lot of pressure back onto Axe and onto Temper here. Makoto, though, looking for their opportunity. Axe, though, very low. Makoto going for that high ground, not going to be able to get up there. As still, you're looking around right now for Iliad Artemis, saying, what do we need to do here? Because now it's been a while since you've really controlled the point for a long time. You immediately see Makoto just running away with their life here as they're struggling to stay alive. But already just angles being taken here. And hey, the one hit scan on your side now for Vivacity. You got to be able to shut down Pain Care there. And now Floofy trying to run with their life. Does have that Tidal Blast ready to go, but the overclock out now from Amadou, looking for anything to jumpstart their team here this round. But everyone from Vivacity doing a really good job of just playing around corners, not having to necessarily worry about it. Ultimate comes and goes, but Azure will find Fern, which should be a great opening pick. Axe now into deep here a little bit, be able to get out with some help from that propulsion rocket, but Azure finds one. Makoto comes right back with the trade. Kitsune Rush out from Mardox, and this will have to probably be the point right now, if you are Vivacity, that you are just giving it up. You'll see a little bit of a stall out here from Temper, which will probably get you to about 63%, but that's gonna be all you get. Nope, 62. However, that did come at the cost of 2 ultimates there for Iliad Artemis. Vivacity gonna come back into this next fight with the tectonic shock, with the cage, and especially with this Kitsune Rush, which on the other side, you're looking at Pain Care right now. Has this barrage, looking for the opportunity to, can't play it safe, goes in aggressive and just focused straight in on Axe. Perfectly played right there by them. Waited for them, got the play to come out their way. Azure now going in, trying to clean up this fight, but it is already done. Iliad Artemis slowly getting themselves back into this series, and or back into this map, my bad, especially with a pick like that, as Pain Care now, after a struggle on point 2, back alive here on point 3, as again, no one on the other side to really match him, as you do see, I believe, Temper on point, trying to back cap, and now they are too far in the back line. It's going to be very hard for them to get out with their own lives here. Pain Care, though, just trying to keep space here, just focusing everything in onto Axe. Kitsune Rush out here from Fern as everything gets going. Floofy, though, with the Tidal Blast, as the cage fight does come out here. Axe, though, gonna get D-Mech, but does have that bomb. Tectonic Shock out from Temper, only gonna be able to find one right there before Amadou comes right back and takes them out right again here. Point almost capped right now by this Vivacity team, as Morlock starts to get pressured out a little bit by Azure, but you need to be able to get rid of this Diva right now if you're Vivacity. Now everyone turns tail and just says, hey, we need to focus on the mech. Azure gets off point just long enough, but Mardoc, again, someone who's been able to find a lot. Sundering Blade did come out there. Oh, not able to find one, but does help Temper find that mech. And right now, if you are Iliad Artemis, you are probably looking for a way out of this one. Instead, it's going to be Axe going straight in. Amadou, though, with the overclock, trying to get something going here, does find one, looking for a second one. Axe now rushing in, gets a little bit of that damage there. Mardox, again, finds a pick right there. And if you're Vivacity, you are just looking to cap out or hold on this point as long as you can, but you give it over quickly. And now look at what you have here if you're them. Final fight territory, and you really have nothing in Orbital Ray online. That's going to be all you have. Mardox, though, has the Kitsune Rush and Pain Care. Going to be who we're going to be watching here for a brief moment. Has this barrage ready to go, but now there's a Diva on the other side to be able to eat it. Temper now off the bencher as well. It's going to be a fight here on point, as you already see Azure just trying to help their team on this off angle, as Makoto going in. But Makoto, they've gotten in trouble a couple times here. Kitsune Rush out from Mardox, as you do see Pain Care just looking for the opportunity. Or Orbital Ray out from Morlock here. There they are. They have the opportunity, but they're almost being pressured out there by Axe. Axe trying to get rid of them. Not going to be able to find it just yet. I mean, if you are Iliad Artemis, you could give up the point right here if you really want to, just to buy some time. You are coming up to even more ultimates right now, but so is Temper. The barrage, it gets in. It finds nothing. It's exactly the thing you were fearing for. But Mardox, again, they've been so consistent on this Kiriko. Going to be able to find one, but like I said, you might have been looking for a little bit of a fallback, give over the point, but Mardox, again, single-handedly maybe keeping their team in this fight. Fern, though, going off with this Kitsune Rush. As you see Floofy try to go in, get a touch. They will. Overtime will commence here as start to see more and more heroes swap over right now. Floofy, though, will eventually fall. Pain Care on the Tracer, going to be your touch. Bomb out, though, from Axe, and Pain Care not going to be able to find the way to stay alive here. Doomfist back out now from Azure as they try to keep this alive for them here, but they are struggling to do so as Makoto takes them out. A really back-and-forth first map for these two teams, but it's Vivacity that gets off to a really good start here and takes our first map of the night.
How's my KD?
What? That's a glitch I hope they never fix, but at the same time I do hope they fix one day. All right, but Again, a great start here for Vivacity. Honestly, a great start for Iliad Artemis as well. Really back and forth with the two teams. And that's what we were really hoping for here with this series. Like I said, both these teams probably on the same level when it comes to skill-wise. Vivacity, though, has gotten off to a much better start. Like I said, it is their fifth game of the season, only the third for Iliad Artemis. And Iliad Artemis quickly picks our next map of the night. Going to be bringing us over to Blizzard World here. And when you look at Blizzard World, you look at stuff like those dive heroes and like poke heroes, something like the Sigma, something like the Diva, like we saw them play the majority of that first map there. So, hey, it makes a lot of sense for them. You already see the Vendetta being banned out here by Iliad Artemis. And, I mean, we'll look at the stats right now. Yeah, let's take a look at the stats as I have to see who's who. Okay. Yeah. So, we have to see. Wow, I'm messing up big time here. All right. So, this is Makoto. Makoto, did their job on the Vendetta, but they went 11-9. I mean, they struggled that map. The Vendetta was, I think a lot of the times, as it's really starting to become here in some situations, maybe a little bit more of a hindrance than a benefit here. And I'm not saying it was a big hindrance, but you want to see that Vendetta be able to find a little bit more value there, especially when you look at just the elims themselves, least on the team, especially for a hero that not even a month ago, you would not be surprised if they were leading the lobby, not just say their team. But again, you look at these stats here. This is a map that Iliad Artemis, just looking at the stats, you would probably say, yeah, they come out on top of here. But just great play all around by Vivacity. I think that's been one of the main reasons why this team is what they are right now, that 3-1 record. They've been able to really find ways to win these nitty-gritty fights in a lot of situations. But with all this time here, I would not be surprised if we do see a sub come in here for one of these two teams. Hi, Zay. You cannot be on the desk. But it's going to be the Diva being banned out here next. And honestly, again, I think that's a good ban for both these two. You get rid of the Vendetta, even though I said, like, hey, it was not maybe the biggest thing to worry about there for you. I think you'll gladly take it. I think you will here. But let me just get these bans in real quick. But like I said, I don't think the Vendetta was the biggest problem there, one you really had to worry about. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe even though it struggled to find the elims and died, a decent amount, maybe they just said there was too much pressure coming from it. And it makes and that's a really good reason just right there. Did I do the wrong thing? Yeah, I did the wrong thing. But right now, again, waiting for one more person to get into the lobby at the moment. But still, this should be a really, really close map between both these two teams. Vivacity took that first map. Again, it was basically 100-0 to 100-0. Yeah, we did see a little bit of cap here and there from both teams, but it was very short, 99 to 99 on that final point, and it was very highly contested. Like, I will say that straight up, highly contested final battle on that one, and it could have gone either way, in my opinion, right there. But Vivacity finds ways to make sure they end up on top of a lot of these fights and a lot of these series so far here. But you get rid of the Diva here, you get rid of the Vendetta, and yeah, the Zarya was banned out last map by Iliad Artemis, and you saw it there. Maybe we would see that kind of play come back out here from Vivacity with the Vendetta, but now you could have the Zarya back, but no Vendetta here this time around. Diva, though, I mean, you saw both teams really play Diva, and it seemed like it found the most success playing Diva. Diva, I think a lot of people are saying, is right now, at least in maybe this region, the strongest tank in the game. Maybe one of the strongest tanks. I think there's still there's a couple other heroes that might have a little bit more to say about that. But right now we're seeing a lot of Diva because a lot of good cooldowns, a lot of good mobility, and just a decent amount of damage as well. But let's head into our second map of the series here. I understand that one is very much not centered, but once that side has a 2, it fixes it. But right now, let's see what these two teams are going to be showing us here. Do we see more of what we saw last map with dive from both teams, or do we see poke come out? Actually, Axe potentially showing us the Domina here, which I think is very interesting, if you ask me. I think Domina could work very well here, but at the same time, I think maybe it's a little bit too open, especially for what we're seeing on the other side with Maverick showing us the hazard, which we start to see a little bit more play here as of late. I think it's something that could really affect you here, just by being able to really out pressure that Domino, which really just wants to be able to do, well, just that. It wants to be able to apply a lot of pressure from far away, and then even once you get closer, 2 great abilities, yeah, well, hell, 3 great abilities, honestly, that make sure that you are having a really hard time getting that pressure in there. But let's see what Iliad Artemis has to say about it this time around. Again, Mardox, though, Mardox was maybe the standout for me last map for them here, able to find a lot of picks early on. Just a lot of picks, as well as playing this Kiriko, which, again, anytime we see Kiriko, we know how important they are in fights. Our Lucio is back in play this time around. It was banned out last time we saw it here, as Maverick getting ready to make that dive in there. Maverick waiting their time here, being a little bit patient, waiting for some space to open up. Nice boop there, but now you see Amadou just follow up, find temper. Amadou and Mardox. Woo, this is the start you were looking for if you're Artemis. Everyone getting their name in that kill feed right here. Makoto, the only one left alive, and Maverick will be able to take care of them very easily. Iliad Artemis, fast, very, 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 very fast start here. And already, look at the other side, swaps all out. Temper over to the Torb. I feel like this is maybe one of the only maps that you actually see Torb get played, but Axe goes right back over to tried and true on this Malga. I mean, I think this is, at this moment right now, if you're playing Vivacity, you have to expect to see this Malga, and I think you're really seeing Iliad Artemis hold on to a ban on this Malga for maybe a little bit later on in the series, but so far off to a great start. But how will this hazard do against the Malga here? As what a nice charge in there by Axe. Not going to be able to find any picks just yet. It's actually be Maverick finding Fern, but it should be Maverick falling right there as Axe finds him. Axe, though, just running all the way around the map right now, but eventually be Amadou, who's gone off to such a great start already, not only this map, but this series, finding them there, finding Morlock as well, trying to get rid of Temper. One good real shot will do it, and there it is. Amadou playing really far up right now, but I mean, with how hot they are, I do not blame him. Overclock online as well, gonna pop it off right now, trying to find out Makoto, and hey, they do just that. Now, all sights turn to Axe, as you do see Maverick back there as well, but they're trying to run away with their life, not gonna be able to do just that, as they will have to fall back, but still, you're gonna see this Iliad Artemis team continue pushing up right now, trying to take as much space as they possibly can. It's, hey, someone needs to touch. Consider Rush out here. Fern will find one, but Axe falls, and now it's up to paint. It's up to, I believe, Fern on point to stall this one out. Temper will find one. Temper actually finds 2 on the Torb, and that's going to be enough to send everyone back from Iliad Artemis. But I believe Pain Care is still somewhere around here. No, they are all the way back at their point, or at their spawn. Nice Galaxy weapon on the Dynasty skins. But right now, still almost 4 minutes on the clock here for Iliad Artemis. They have a lot of time to play with here, so they could slow play a couple of these fights, but Temper, ooh, the Torb finding the value here early on, not with the turret. The rivet gun is sometimes the scariest thing you need to be worried about here. But still, Axe doing a good job holding up this high ground. Maverick, I think, is waiting for that opportunity to make that dive. They're getting positioned for it, but they're waiting for a good opportunity. As you do see, Downpour, Beat, Pulse Bomb all online here for Iliad Artemis. Molten Core, though, online for Temper. That's going to be one that at least stalls out the point here a little bit, as they're trying to shoot around the pillar here. But Pulse Bomb out, not going to be able to find anything. Cage fight here, but the Downpour going to be able to, I believe, trap 2, as you do see Axe get trapped. However, a turret standing in place is still a turret, and they're able to find 2 because of it right there. So able to really get through that one fight right there, a 2-for-2 ult trade. But if you're Vivacity, you absolutely take that there. Axe, though, holding on still. No cage fight left. Pain Care, though, getting off of this Tracer, going now over to the Pharah instead. And again, you look at the other side, it's really just, well, this person right here, Temper, on this Torb that can shut them down. But Axe has done a good job pretending to be that hit scan DPS. Now doing a nice little fake charge there. Will give up the high ground, though, and Maverick in a world of hurt, both literally and metaphorically. But right now, that cart slowly rolling back. 2 minutes almost on that time bank here. Vivacity has done a really good job of just eating away at that time bank. Amadou, though, this is someone you need to get going right now. They got off to such a hot start, been really struggling since, and now they're on this off angle. Hard for anyone to find a good shot on them. Overclock out here from them now. Turtho could be shooing them here. I don't think they got rid of it just yet. Disruptive shot going over there, trying to force Temper away, but now the Molten Core coming out from them as they might just try to throw it all on point. Maverick, though, going to be able to, or Temper will fall to Maverick as Axe is taken out, but the burning sensation you're feeling is actual fire on the ground. The beat out from Floofy as just the support line as they both expel their ultimates, and Temper going in. Oh my goodness, yeah, you is right. Whew. That right there is a play. And look at what that does. You got rid of the support ultimates for both sides. A little bit late ults there from Floofy and Mardox. Now, though, you have that downpour and the barrage coming up online here very soon, but look at the other side already. Continuing rush online for them. Amadou, though, someone you need to get going here now, focusing in here on Temper, but the cavalry is there. However, the wall is there as well. Mardox with 2. Maverick will be able to find them. Continuing rush did come out from Fern. It's only on this high ground, and now Axe trying to do all they can with it. It is just them and Makoto. Painkiller will fall here. Point almost capped, or back capped there by Maverick, but they're going to fall back here. 40 seconds left to go. You have the time to regroup here, especially with a downpour and a barrage coming up online for them. They have time to get set up. Axe only has a cage fight ready to go here now for Vivacity, and that's the only thing they have for a while to come here, honestly. 30 seconds online. Maverick already burning. Looking for something to get going here. They're trying to find that dive. Temper has been a problem on this Torb. Jagged Wall going to be able to find them. Downpour out, but I think it only catches onto one, but it's not going to catch onto the one that you were looking for there. Fern will fall, but Temper shuts them down. The Torb is a destroyer of worlds at the moment as everyone goes chasing after the Mardox, though. Again, they have just been so good. A touch will come out, so overtime will commence here no matter what. Painkiller does have this barrage online, but they use it here. Cage is ready for Axe. They need to be able to live. Mardox still going to go in with the Kitsune Rush. That cage is still online, and Painkiller waiting for it. There's the cage. Barrage comes out, beat out as well. But only Makoto that falls. Eventually, Axe will fall afterwards. And eventually, it does take them almost all 5 minutes, basically, to get across the finish line, but they get across it. Second point capped here for Iliad Artemis, but you look at that time bank. You're already in a very sticky situation right now as Morlock going over to the Juno now and Axe. Ooh, showing us a little bit of Zarya here. Remember, Zarya was banned out last map. It's the Vendetta this time around. Painkiller trying to do what they can up here. Temper does have another Molten Core online. I feel like you're going to hold that for final fight at this point here right now, as it is a good tool just to try to get people off it. Maverick, though, goes over to it, but the Molten Core out here. But Amadou, like I said, this person can just pick up a fight and end it very quickly. Going to be able to shut down the Molten Core. That was a huge ultimate that doesn't really find any value. Amadou, though, Suzu from Mardox again. Going to be able to keep him alive here as still you see them going in. Maverick very low, but Axe going to be able to take him out here on the Zara. Highly charged right now as you do see him start to go after Mardox. He's going to be able to run away. Now it looks like we're just going to see a little bit of a regroup here from Artemis, but they need to get everyone out. Amadou barely staying alive by the skin of their teeth. Makoto does try to go in, but instead falls right back out. Again, no ultimates online. Fern's going to be the only one that's going to have something here very early on. Mardox is the next closest person that could really build up to something right now. So if you're looking at this one right now, Vivacity in a really good spot, but Temper needs to get healing as you start to see Axe take a lot of space. Maverick, though, back over onto this Hazard as Makoto. Temper finding 1, 2 there. Already almost down. Makoto now finding another one. Temper, doesn't matter who they're playing. They're hitting shot after shot here. The DPS line for Vivacity. Cleaning house. And that will end the round right there. Vivacity maybe giving up a little bit too much, or a little bit too more, well, yeah, a little bit more than what they thought they would end up giving up, considering how good of a hold that second point was. But hey, some things just are not meant to be. Let's take a look at some stats, though. As we are in between rounds. Again, very close. That's been the one thing with this entire series. Been very much back and forth. Morlock and Fern. Whew. 39 combined assist. I have to imagine that's probably every death on the other side right here, and then some. Amadou, though, like I said, that's been a player for this Artemis team that has absolutely been able to get this team going. They've been the kickstart to this team time after time after time. Again, 22 elims, most in the lobby by a long shot. Most in the lobby by 6. I mean, Axe is my bad, 4. Temper has 18 as well. But again, you need players like that. You need plays like that from players to really get the ball going sometimes for your team, as I need to quickly run to the other side of the map. But coming out of the gate here, not really a big surprise, honestly. As you do just see the hazard come back out here for Axe. Maverick going to be sticking on this. I mean, Maverick going to be sticking on the hazard. Axe going to be showing us this Malga again. I mean, like I said, at this point, you kind of have to expect to see the Malga from this Vivacity team, and they have been making it work very, very well. Again, we're not back in the days where Malga just came out and he's lobby admin, but he definitely does have a spot in the meta at the moment, and this Vivacity team is really showing us that here and now. And I do like Paincare sticking on this far. However, you do see Temper on the other side does have that Soj online, so maybe a little bit more of problems and worry when they go up in the sky right now if you're Paincare. Look at the positioning right now. Axe can go charging in, go straight after Floop. Actually, no, just go straight up for the high ground instead. But really not going to be able to find anything just yet. Amadou, though, like I said, this player, if they can just get off to a hot start, it doesn't matter here, as Axe not going to be able to get alive out of this or live from this one. But they find Maverick, which is more surprising, honestly. Amadou, though, looking to try to get rid of Morlock here. Going to be able to with a disruptor shot. Marlock's, though, very low on health, but they're going to be able to fall back to safety here, as it's just going to be both teams resetting here. A fight win for Iliad, especially how last round went for Vivacity on the defensive side. Iliad's already doing a little bit better. But Amadou, oh my goodness, Morlock somehow stays alive right there. Axe going to be able to force him off, but you immediately see all the damage just being pumped into them here as they try to focus in on Paincare. Nice boop, though, by Floofy as they get them off that high ground now as they try to keep Axe alive. Not going to be able to, as Amadou still alive and kicking, but Fern going to be able to shut them down. Makoto has to use that recall to keep themselves alive here, but still, without Axe, you're not going to see Vivacity really do a lot. Paincare, I don't think, has really been pressured out that much here. It's hard for Temper to really find those angles to be able to shut down someone in the sky who's doing a lot of burst damage. And Axe is trying to, but you're just seeing them just get focused down time after time again here. Paincare, though, going to be able to find Makoto somehow in that fight. But Maverick, again, going for the large health pack, is getting burned down here a little bit. But Axe, look at them. Very low. Susan needs to be forced on them to keep them alive. Now they're going to put everything back into Maverick. Time for Amadou to go off right now as they're looking for something here, as I am missing all the keys. But Paincare, Floopy find 2. Axe not going to be able to get back to this point or spawn right there. Half the time bank gone here for Vivacity. Need to get something going, or else this map is going to go the way of Iliad Artemis. And it looks like we might be having a tied series, but still a lot of time left. And we are seeing a play come out here. Swap, though, for Axe as they go over. And Makoto might also need to be someone on this Reaper that's going to get some intel, because you see Maverick and them right there. Axe going to get just harassed almost immediately. The Kitsune Rush out for Mardox as well. Axe does find Paincare. Now Fern responds with their own Kitsune Rush. Maybe one you would want to hold on to here, but if Makoto can find 1 or 2 here, small room, dude with a shotgun, dude with 2 shotguns, can you find one more? They're trying to chase down the support line, but somehow what was looking to be a really good fight there for Iliad Artemis falls apart. Granted, though, no one's on point just yet. You should get one more touch right now for Artemis. And look at the ultimates they have. Floofy gonna try to just rush everyone there. I'm so sorry for swapping onto you at that moment, Floofy. That was an attempt. Overclock out here, though, from Temper. Beat out from the other side of the barrage, and Beat now out, but it's going to be Temper shutting down Paincare, and now Temper looking for more. Downpour coming out here, not going to be able to, actually, no, does find Axe. Axe falls, Floopy fall, or Temper and Fern fall as well, so a lot invested in that fight for Vivacity, just to go back to the drawing board. All right. Final fight, nothing really online here for either team. You're looking at Makoto maybe to get something built up here. Axe could quickly build up to a grab, but they need to get a lot of damage, and someone needs to get the point. Temper is going to probably be the touch here. Makoto following it up, but Axe very low on health already. No bubbles to use here, so a touch does come out. Temper going to have to recall to keep themselves alive here, but still, Makoto does have this Death Blossom ready to go, but they are being pressured out. Barely going to be able to hold on to it, and now they're just going to make a mad dash towards point. Maverick, though, on it. Temper, though, I mean, Makoto does find really no one, but it's the cleanup there. And the point cap for Vivacity. They keep this map alive for them somehow as Temper going to be able to come help their DPS line brethren find that pick as Fern shuts down their counterpart on the other side. The ball is now rolling for Vivacity. This is a composition that is very death ball-y, but I would not be surprised if we see some swaps here from some of the members on Vivacity the moment they die. Amadou, though, overclock online, waiting for an opportunity to use it. Could use it very early here, but I don't see them doing that. Maverick, though, going in. Nope, there it is. I should never second-guess Amadou here as they go off with the overclock. Grab, though, out from Axe. Axe will find Amadou, but Morlock will fall because of it. Now Axe trying to get rid of one more, but Floomfy will fall. Maverick finds one. Pain Care shutting them down as well. Can I not swap to a dead person? But still, just trades been happening back and forth here. Pain Care will eventually find Fern, but just back and forth and back and forth. And ult for an ult really leads to, well, nothing there if you're Vivacity. And Iliad Artemis just taking it all away right now. 90 seconds on the board here, though, for Vivacity to push it. And this is a point right now where this is a hard cart to push, especially on this point. Barrage, though, out from Pain Care. And say goodbye to Axe. Say goodbye to Temper and Fern. You don't have to say goodbye to Makoto just yet, but give it some time. But right now, look at Artemis, Beat, Kitsune Rush, Downpour, all online. You're going to have Beat and Kitsune Rush ready here for a moment for Vivacity, but Temper holding onto this pulse bomb, looking for something here. They could really stick it onto Maverick as Maverick's using some tech here, but just going to have to slide off. 1 minute left to go. You're looking for something big here right now if you are Vivacity. You're going to force Pain Care back, but that's not going to be enough here as, oh my goodness, Marduk's just hitting headshot after headshot. Kitsune Rush out from both sides, really far back in the map right now. Jagged Wall going to come out as you start to see Maverick get pressured out here. Door stuck. No, it's just the large Russian woman blocking your way out as Maverick gets shut down, but still, kills just being traded back and forth here. It's not a win for Vivacity. You need to be able to get this far out of the sky. Morlock coming back in, though. Does have Beat ready to go, but this is not the point where you really invest this here. Instead, it looked like Morlock for a second there was going to go back and go get their other teammates, but no, they're going to wait here. Final fight. Territory for here on out. There's at least 2 more fights. Beat out early on. Maverick, though, with the downpour, I believe, does find 2. Morlock stuck in it, but Amadou and Mardox, again, these 2 players have been just out of their minds so far tonight. And Iliad Artemis looks like they're going to be able to tie up this series here. Last one left alive is Temper, but they will not be able to do enough. And who else but Amadou gets final pick of the map. Iliad Artemis goes up and ties the series at 1. Again, just great performances, honestly. Temper on this Torb, I thought was great on the defense for Vivacity, but just Amadou. This entire map was just them. They played excellently. But right now, tied up at 1. Is this the 5-map series that everyone maybe thought it could be? I don't know if anyone really did, but these are 2 good teams, and they've been playing really good so far here. Let me pull up the FaceIt page here real quick so I can actually see. Well, we're actually waiting a little bit here on a map pick. And I think it's a very important one here for Vivacity. I mean, they have played a couple deep series already this season. A couple 4 maps, I believe 1 or 2 5 maps here. I think there has only been one time they've been able to go through with the sweep for them. And maybe got swept the one time they played Kintsugi. But I think they took a map off them. Ooh, Runasapi is going to be our next map. So the push map coming out here is going to be Runasapi. And normally I feel like we see a lot of teams gravitate towards something like Esperanza instead. We saw a little bit earlier on the night in South America. But Runasapi I feel like is a good map, especially for what Vivacity really wants to play. But if you're Vivacity, what do you get rid of here? I think that's the bigger question. Do you get rid of something, say, like the Hazard? Because Hazard definitely finds all its value here. Do you get rid of something like the Soj? Because at that point, I mean, you kind of showed us last map, you're okay maybe not playing the traditional hit scans, because we saw a Torb come out from Temper, and it looked really, really good. Like, really good. But so far, I mean, we did see the 1 sub come in there that last map as Azure went out, and it was Maverick that came into play that Hazard for Iliad Artemis. Do we see them stay in? Does Azure come back in? We'll figure that out here in a moment. But Vivacity will have to eventually put in a ban here, and they're taking all their time, which granted, after a loss like that, one that was kind of slipped away from you there. You had a really good second point defensive hold, kind of let it just slip away, but then you just couldn't get anything going on the offensive side, so take all the time in the world if you're me. But, I mean, do you see him go after the tank? I feel like tank would be a very easy one. Again, a very safe one. You have to remember what we've seen already so far. This one, Zarya and D.Va have been banned out, I believe, by opposite teams, and Kiri and Lucio have been banned out by opposite teams. So, I mean, you could see one of those heroes come back in here right now. I'm trying to remember who banned the Zarya first map. I believe that was actually Iliad Artemis, and you have to remember Iliad Artemis also banned out the Vendetta last map. So we did see the Zarya play come out there from Axe last map. That could definitely be something we see here again with that Zarya Vendetta composition, especially on a map like Vivacity, where you see that find so much value, especially in OWCS and in other FaceIt games. It's just a really strong combo, and this seems like a protect ban, if you ask me. The Hog, everybody. Not going to be going to Peru. Yeah, this is most definitely a protect ban at this point. So Hog being banned out here by Vivacity. Again, like I said, it's a protect ban. I'm gonna try to maybe explain like, oh yeah, you know, this makes sense for this reason. It doesn't, and you all know that as well. But what does Artemis ban? Do they ban the Torb? Do that? Like, I think they've banned out maybe the two things that you would really expect them to. They could ban out something like that Kiriko or something like the Lucio. No, it's going to be the Venture. And honestly, with how Temper was playing the Venture, I don't blame them. That's actually a good ban. Again, like, I'm very happy with the bans so far that we have gotten from both these teams here. So, great. Vivacity banned out the Hog. So let me get that one in real quick. And then Iliad banned out the Venture. Interesting, like, very fun bands. Very fun bands. Very unique bands as well. Something you don't see that often, I feel like. Yeah, what up, Hippie? Hippie, do not say anything about how off-center those are. I understand it's off-center. Why are we going to Atlas? What? Okay. Apparently we're playing Atlas now. I love this. We're playing Atlas now. So no longer Runasapi. It's going to be Atlas. Hogband still, I guess, makes maybe a little bit better sense on a map like Atlas. Venture as well. We have saw what Temper was able to do on it in the past. And again, Hog really feels like it's just a protect ban on that tank. So you really want to do that here. But still, going to give some time for every player to get in. We're still waiting on one member from Artemis to get in. And it looks like Azure will be coming back in. Maverick going to be stepping back out for this one. Looks like we're just waiting for Pain Care to get into the lobby right now. But, hey, I'm really happy with how this series is going. Both these teams very back and forth here. Again, let's look at the stats while we wait for Pain Care to get into the lobby here right now. I missed. You know what? That works a little bit better. Yeah, so, I mean, you look at just that last map right there. I mean, I have to figure out who those are. 1 second. Amadou and Pain Care. Yeah, Amadou, again, Amadou's been playing out of their mind these first two maps, if you ask me. This Soge they've been playing, or the hit skin they've been playing, has just been absolutely oppressive here to Vivacity. And then you also just said Pain Care, who had a really good round last map, both on offense and defense. And you see it there, 42 combined elims on that DPS line. You look over to the other side, only 25. So one side's doing something really, really well there. Tanks, so pretty much even, especially with the difference that we saw there. The Zarya and a little bit of that Malga come back out there for Axe when they were on the defense side, the Zarya on the offense side. Maybe not finding the value we're really looking for, but still, it's just, it was just Maverick playing a really, oh wow, I'm even more wrong. God, it was Maverick playing just a really solid, really solid round right there. Really, they died 13 times. Didn't feel like they did, but I mean, again, right now you're looking at the stats here. That's That's 66 kills on that DPS line. They did a really, really good job. The support lines as well, combining for about 21,000 healing. Other side got 23,000 healing. But still, it's just the amount of fights you're taking there in Iliad Artemis. They didn't need to really heal a lot. You weren't going to say nothing until I pointed it out. I thought it'd be the first thing you would say. But hey, heading in now to Atlas, our third map of the night. Who goes up on the series point after this one? We will figure it out here in a brief moment. But like I said, it is Azure coming back in this time around. No swaps over on the side of Vivacity, as this has been a team that's done great throughout the entire season. Where's the... Oh, my goodness. Did I accidentally...
Ready for battle.
Yeah. This Vivacity team has done really good throughout this entire season on just being able to kind of win close fights, win close battles, win close maps. That last map was anything but close here. But like I said, with that Hog being banned out here by Vivacity, that's definitely a protect ban coming in here for them. So you can see them already over on that Zarya Van Comp. Temper showing us the Emre for the first time here tonight. Nope. Over to the Jesus. Back over to the Emre. But Floofy showing us the Mizuki again. We saw that a little bit on our first map. And honestly, Floofy did a really good job on it for the most part. And I'm excited to see it here again. Emily, though, looks like they already kind of expected to see maybe a Zarya come back out here for them on this Bastion, which me and Hunter, when we cast this, we like to call it a bubble popper. Something that's just there to, hey, we're going to give the charge over to the Zarya, but we just want to get them out of the fight. Bubble onto Makoto. They're going to go in, get that downward slash, and then just get out point open here. As you already see a couple members of Vivacity just have to just cower towards point. Axo getting chased out, but Floofy going to find the first pick here now. As you see a great rotation here. It will be Vivacity who gets first cap, but they're not going to be holding on to it for very long here. Makoto, though, might be able to get one on their way out. No, they get one. Temper, though, going to be able to help them find it, but eventually it will just be a fall. Their 19% is all that Vivacity gets here. And Iliad Artemis, I love the kind of rotation they had right there. Played it very smart, forced two members off the high ground, and then just understood, like, hey, we can just chase down this Zarya. Axe, though, one life challenge on the Zarya, going back over to the Malga. What does Makoto do now on this Vendetta? Because I think what we saw the first map was, yeah, Makoto can find value, but it's going to be really, really hard, and they're going to be dying a little bit more here. Charge coming in here from Axe, going to be able to get rid of Floofy, and that's someone you want to get rid of early, but Morlock not who you want to be seeing falling next. Painkare focusing in on Axe, going to ice block to keep themselves alive here, but another charge coming out as you just hear Axe run right over someone. Point taken right back here as you're going to see a quick disengage here from Iliad Artemis as they want to get reset here. Charge in there from Axe, immediately puts it all onto Azure. Kitsune Rush out here now, trying to keep him alive, but it's actually going to be Makoto finding them there. Axe gets rid of the tank, so a huge ultimate expelled here for Iliad Artemis that will end up finding diddly squat. As you just see a back cap here from Amadou. Won't be able to find much, but I think if you're Iliad Artemis, you're okay investing the one ultimate right there. You still have a couple more coming up. Actually, check that. You only have two. You only have three. Amadou was going to have their ultimate ready to go, but you're not going to have that now as they make the swap over to the Soj, which, I mean, last map did cause a lot of problems. Temper, though, on this Emre needs to be able to match him. Kitsune Rush out as Axe goes straight in. I like this aggressive play here now from Vivacity, but you need to be able to find one, or Iliad Artemis is going to come right back in very, very quickly. You already see Azure fall down to this low ground. Sundering Blade out from Makoto, not going to be able to find much here, but hey, they did a good job at least stopping the pressure there on the point. Even with Axe falling, you will gladly take that if you are Vivacity, as you've already gotten this first point in your control. Makoto, though, going in, finding two, trying to get rid of Painkare, but hey, just picks being traded back and forth here. Doesn't necessarily matter in the end. Like I said, if you're Vivacity, you already got the first point, and everyone's going to still spawn and probably be back at the next point in time. I said, Axe already back over here. Floofy, though, this Sanctuary they have coming up here would be perfect for both the ultimates, or almost all the ultimates you see online right now for Vivacity. Morlock, though, has this beat online. Haven't seen an Ajax here tonight. Maybe I just cursed it, but maybe I did not. cage fight out right now. Blizzard just being chucked in, and I mean, you immediately just see it right there. If the cage was immediately knocked down, Morlock will get froze up there, but they just dropped the cage because they did not want to be a part of the freeze. And now Charge coming in there just a moment too late, but it should be Vivacity getting first cap here. Temper though, override protocol online, 1, 2, can we find a third? No. Axe takes that one away from them, and Marduk's running for their lives. Vivacity, again, off to a good start here. Gets the first cap on the second point. Not going to be a quick cap this time around as they want to fight handily. But look over the other side. Overclock, Sanctuary, and that Consumer Rush online. Nothing really online here for Vivacity. So honestly, their main goal of this fight, yeah, it is to win. But you want to get some of these ultimates out. And Amadou, yeah, gonna help you out here. Oh, immediately throwing that one out there, and they're just getting chased down. But Amadou with the flick. You're gonna see Marduk's trade out on the one, but Azure comes right back in. Axe still alive somehow, but you do get rid of the Sanctuary. And Makoto will eventually find one. As can I not swap to a dead person, please? Temper though, last one left alive, focusing right on pain care. They were so close to find them. Grenade out, not gonna be able to find much, but Temper now just being staggered out. However, that will get you at least 80%, especially as Morlock comes back in just to throw their body on the point. But that will be Iliad Artemis taking the point right back. However, that's exactly the fight you wanted right there if you were Vivacity. You got rid of 2 big ultimates. Now, though, you have this Consumer Rush online for Marduk's, and we've seen what Marduk's been able to do this entire series, not only with healing, but also just by being able to provide kills as well. Makoto, though, Sunring Blade ready for them, looking to get set up for it, but this could be something where they might struggle with it. Amadou, though, chasing them down. Almost able to find Floofy, but no, it's going to be Axe who finds them there as the Consumer Rush out here from Fern. Straight over the point, another charge coming out here, focusing onto Axe's. Almost gets knocked out. Consumer Rush out from Marduk's as well. Say goodbye to Axe, but Makoto with 2, make it 3. Can we find a 4-piece? Not going to be just yet, but they're waiting for it there. The Ice Block will fall away. Overtime is commenced right now, but it will be Vivacity. It will be Vivacity taking our second map, or second point of the night. Yeah, Hippie. Like, I'm so happy Floofy's playing this. Not playing the Mizuki anymore, but they've been doing a really good job on it when we have seen it. Not going to be playing it anymore. I think it was just starting to lose a little bit of its value. They're not finding as much damage. I think you just saw them always being the person that was being targeted on by Axis just charges in right now. But look at what Vivacity is going this next point with. And we might see a little bit of an early fight come out here right now. Blizzard, though, out from Pain Care, and I don't think Axis is going to be able to escape this one. They somehow get out, but aren't going to be able to live for long there as Azure takes them down. The Blizzard, though,
Pick
still...
a god and pray.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Thank you, Ewan. I need to turn those off. Those scare me every time. But right now, it's Vivacity again coming right back in, taking this point again first here as Makoto's really started to come alive on this Vendetta. And as I say that, they immediately die. Axo charging in. Axe has been making this Malga work time after time again. Cage fight online. Get a hold under it right now as you do see some support come in to keep them alive. Suzu invested, but Pain Care going to be able to shut them down. And Axe now running for their lives here. It will force the flip here as Iliad Artemis does get control here. Does have some good ultimates coming online. You have this Overclock. You have this Flux here for them. And with how Amadou has been playing so far tonight, this Overclock might just be able to find 3, potentially even 4. But on the other side, Override Protocol and that cage. They are in really good spots. Artemis will take the brief lead here as you slowly start to see Vivacity kind of rotate around right now. Axio's charging in, not going to be able to find anyone there, but the Overclock now out from Amadou. Cage, though, going to be able to really stop a lot of that damage, and Amadou not going to be able to find anything this time. Sayonara, Morlock, as you get booped off the map there by Floofy, and that might just end the fight right there. Axe will find one, but that'll be the only thing they find this fight, and Iliad Artemis just going to be able to hold on to it here. One more touch potentially for Vivacity at this point. They could afford to give this one up. They might just be really trying to force a fight here, maybe to get some more ultimates out from the other side, but it's going to be very difficult for them here as they are just, looks like they're staging it up here. They might not even go for a touch. Floofy just rolling around, looking for another boop here. Axe, though, is going to be the person you're looking for their touch. It's actually Makoto. Axe, though, following up Fern and Marduk's. But, oh, my goodness, the left-right goodnight there with Axe as they take care of Pain Care. Amadou, though, beaten out from the other side. What can Amadou do in this fight here? Looking for more. Not going to be able to find anything. Overtime has commenced. Axe coming back in with a touch. Nice play there by Makoto as they knock him down. Morlock gonna be able to find Amadou going back and forth right now, looking for one more kill to go your way here. As you just see a good coordinated dive on that high ground. Azure just has to keep up that grasp, not gonna be able to hold them up long enough. And Vivacity able to take that point right back. Only the Blizzard online right now for Pain Care on the side of Iliad Artemis. You look over at Vivacity, still holding on to this override protocol. You have a beat and you have a Sundering Blade. You have to be really, very happy right now with where you are at. Pain Care there, if you need a Blizzard to find the most value it has so far, this is the Blizzard to do just that. Makoto does have this... Actually, no, Makoto does have the Sundering Blade online. There's the Blizzard Sundering Blade out there looking. They are staggering, and they find two. Looking for a third. They find a third on the Amadou. Can they go for a fourth one right here? Focusing in on Floofy right now, but you still have to deal with them on the point. And yep, Floofy gets hit by 1, 2, make it 3. Axe takes them out. I don't think we'll see another touch come out here from Iliad Artemis. And Vivacity goes up 2-1 in the series. Great performances there. Vivacity really much struggled a lot there on Blizzard World. Comes right back in on this map and looks like the team that we saw all the way back on Busan. Really great plays all around. And this vendetta for Makoto, I very much criticized it after the first map, but this time around, it found all the value really wanted it to. Yeah. I mean, just good performances there for Vivacity. Puts himself one map win away from going to 4-1 on the season. And again, I think that would be, I think right now, if you ask me, Vivacity is maybe the biggest surprise to me considering they came up from those last chance qualifiers, but they have been just playing great. And now we get the push map coming in here. You already saw Esperanza and the Malga banned out immediately by Iliad Artemis, and I do not blame them for that one little bit. Axe, that's been their fallback tank, their go-to tank. They might start off on something, but if it does not go their way one fight, they immediately swap. It's not, I'm going to consider it's immediate. And Axe has been doing great numbers so far on that Malga here tonight. I mean, here, I'll pull up the stats for that last map right there. Axe 23 and 6 right there, 9,000 damage. They did a lot. But Makoto, I think that's who you really have to be focusing on here. 25 and 5, a big upgrade from their performance on the Vendetta back on Busan, where they very much struggled. And I'll even show you those stats right there. Makoto went 11 and 9 on all 3 points of Busan to start off the series, playing the same kind of composition that we saw for Vivacity that last map right there. It worked out a lot better for them. Granted, different maps, everything is different. But again, this is what you're looking for here. If you're Vivacity, you're looking for those kind of standout performances. And really, you look across the board. I mean, hell, Temper and Makoto only off by 40 damage, very much in sync right there. And great plays all around. Motobu and I'm forgetting their names right now. My bad. Amadou and we're seeing I'm Mushroom come in. I'm Mushroom coming in this time around. That's a fun one. Haven't seen them just yet. We've seen Azure and we've seen Maverick come in. Maverick played an incredible hazard on Blizzard World. Really, I think, caused Axe to have their most struggles here. But the second ban going to be the Pharah actually coming out here now from Vivacity. So one moment while I get these bans in. The Pharah and the Malga. Yeah, but right now, I mean, if you're Vivacity, you are feeling really, really good. However, this is Mushroom's first map in the game right now. And as we head into Esperanza here in a brief moment. All right, let's head on in. Again, Vivacity now one map win away from going up to 4-1 on the season here. This is going to be a very interesting map, though. I feel like we always see a lot of dive be played here. Zarya could definitely be played, and that has been something we've seen Axe want to try or really attempt to try throughout the majority of the series when it's not the Malga. However, Malga not a part of this map at all. So we might be seeing Axe come out on that Zarya to start off the entire map, or potentially maybe something like that Diva. We have seen that very briefly, but again, it was, like I said, brief. Didn't see it very long. I'm Mushroom, though, coming in. I'm not going to talk about that right now. until I see it for real. But, I mean, on the other side, you have that Zarya Vendetta comp coming right back out. You tried it last map, got shut down one fight, and you made your swap over to the Malga. Well, you don't have that option this time. Do you stick with it? That's going to be the thing to see here for Axe and Vivacity. Iliad Artemis, though. Oh, we're seeing it. Oh, it's real. It's real. It is a real. The hog is real. I want to see how this works out here, especially going up against, I mean, the Makoto on this Vendetta might have a little bit of a problem going into the hog. Honestly, Axe already getting taken out a little bit by chunk there. Hook not going to be able to find one, and Mushroom just immediately to hit the rebreather here as you're starting to see Temper on this Bastion really in a spot where no one can get to them, but Amadou going to be able to find them there, and that's not who you want to see fall first. Amadou, again, someone who got off to a hot start last map, got quieted down pretty quickly, but already 2 picks this time. Make it 3 as they find the flick there. And if you're Artemis, this is the start you wanted. This is much like what we saw on Blizzard World, where they won the first fight, or won the first point in one fight and never really looked back from there. Axe, though, again, they know when to make swaps. I will give them that. They immediately make the swap over to this Orisa instead. I want to see how it really worked out for them here as Mushroom pushed up. Nice jab there by Axe, going to force them back. I think this Orisa is going to be very difficult for Mushroom to do a lot with here. So you already see him trying to play around corners. Axe, though, going straight in, trying to get this hog out very early on. Makoto going for the high ground. Not going to be able to find it, though. But still, that bot being taken away right now. But it'll be Axe falling first by who else but Amadou find the pick here. Amadou being pressured out a little bit by Makoto, but Marduk's going to be able to help them clean it up. Fern, though, trades it out. Not going to be able to land the shot this time around if you're Amadou. But, hey, second time's the charm, right? You get it right there. And now, realistically, this should be forward spawns for Iliad Artemis. Not even 2 minutes in this map. Off to a great and fast start. More swaps coming up here for Vivacity now as Makoto going over to the Freya. I think they want a little bit more... distance pressure coming out here, and especially going up against this hog where you're just honestly seeing Mushroom juke around a little bit, which is something I don't think you expect to see. Overclock, though, out from Amadou as they try to get something going here early on, looking for the shot. Oh my goodness! Amadou looking for a second one. Again, Amadou has just been a standout here throughout the night. They won't need the railgun shot this time around. Hell, their team doesn't really need a lot this time around as the fight is already over. Mushroom cleans it up there with 2. The hog, ladies and gentlemen, it's working. And look at this again. Axe and Temper making swaps yet again to the heroes they start out the map on. And Makoto going right back to it, but look over at the side of Artemis here. So many ultimates online for them. They could just kind of walk in here right now. You have the support ultimates online if you're Vivacity, but Temper going to be able to find Amadou out here and now just focus in on the hog. Fern going to be able to shut them down. Pulse from out from Paincare. Not going to be able to find anyone, but hey, a nice comeback fight here for Vivacity as they come right back in and shut it all down very, very quickly. Everyone, though, does get those forward spawns here if you are Iliad Artemis, so you're not necessarily worried about much. Like I said, Pulse from to come out, did not find anything here for them. But you still have a lot of ultimates in your back pocket right now for Artemis. Spawns, though, will be reset. So this fight now becomes a little bit more important here, or else you're going to be respawning back up in the initial spawn. Makoto goes in, immediately gets out. Nice hook as the Kitsune Rush comes out. Beating out from Floofy. Morlock has a respawn with one of their own Kitsune Rush now out from Morlock late. Temper, though, going to be using this barrage on this high ground, forcing out there as Mushroom, though, pops the whole hog, looking for a little bit more, but Temper going to be able to find one. Fern shuts them down. And now this is exactly what Vivacity needed. 2 good dominant team fight wins. Not losing anybody just yet, but Paincare is still alive, and you never know what could happen here as they are... Where are they? Oh, they're back alive. They got the large health pack. So, forward spawns I do not think will be guaranteed here for Vivacity, but you do have a grab and a Sundering Blade coming up online. Amadou, though, could immediately shut that down very quickly with their overclock. Hook, though, comes out and not going to be able to find it onto Zarya, but it does pressure them back. And, hey, they do get off the bot, and now the bot is being stolen here. Axe, though, going to be able to find Amadou. Makoto falls. However, that bot is still casually just walking away right now, as I think everyone for Vivacity recognized that. Hook, though, not going to be able to find its target that time around. Paincare doing exactly what you want your Tracer to be doing here, focusing in on that backline, just being a little bit of an annoying pest. Grab, though, out here from Axe, just trying to get rid of Mushroom. Going to be able to do that, but Paincare finds Fern out. Pulse Bomb again, not going to be able to find anything but the ground here. Temper finding 2. And again, this should bot just kicking the hog down the rod. But now forward spawns here, capped for Vivacity. Halfway through this map, still have about a 30 meter or 40 meter difference right now, but finally Pain Care taken care of there, as more likely to be able to find them. And now you have Grab, you have Sundering Blade. You're in a good spot right here, honestly, if you are Vivacity. Mushroom trying to find something here pretty early on and at least give their team a little bit of a boost. Even if it's just a hook onto someone, you need to be able to pull them in here. Hook not going to be able to find it. Temper, though, artillery out. They're just trying to buy some space here. Does a good job doing just that. Have bought some space. Lead now down to under 10 meters. Beaten out, as you do see the overclock out from Amadou. They shut down Makoto. That's not who you wanted to see fall right there if you were Vivacity. Amadou, again, could they find a third? They are looking like they're going to be able to, but no. Actually, no, they do. Maybe 4? Do we see 4? Yeah, Floofy will take that one away, but still, Amadou going to be able to pick up 3 of those picks right there. Lead cut down to 9 meters, though, but now you're in that spot where you're just trying to push it back as far as you can. If you get a couple more meters, great. If not, it's still a long walk back the other way. Sundering Blade and Kitsune Rush online here for Vivacity. On the other side, though, you have Whole Hog, Pulse Bomb, not that far away. Beat and Kitsune Rush online. Sundering Blade out here from Makoto will be able to shut down Mardox right there. And you see that bot slowly start to be stolen back the other way. And I don't think you're going to see much of an investment here from Iliad Artemis as Amadou somehow gets out there with their life. Spawns reset yet again here right now. Pain Care holding on to a Pulse Bomb. Ooh, almost gets taken out by just one straight kunai, as you do see Makoto go right in. Axel going to be able to shut down Pain Care. Whole Hog out here now from Mushroom, but they're just hitting the rebreather, running away. However, Axe was a little bit baited into that one right there. Hook not going to find its target, but you do see that bot nearing the checkpoint here. And I think Temper trying to get that so they could at least get Axe those 4 spawns. Not going to be able to do it here. 3 minutes left on the time bank, still down 9 meters. Look at the ultimates online here for Artemis. They are in a really good spot right now. One good hook, honestly. We haven't been able to see the hook combo come out here for Mushroom just yet. Kitsune Rush out, though, from Mardox. This might be the opportunity. Nice bubble, though, but Temper immediately just going to be melted once that bubble pops. Makoto going in, but however, they have to play their life here. However, there is no life to be had. Amadou with 2. You're starting to see Pain Care trying to get rid of 1 more here, but Marlock will fall. Axe will fall, and the wheel, or the bot, just keeps on moving forward here for Iliad Artemis. 4 spawns back in their control. This should be them at least getting back to the barrier. Grab out. That's a huge grab. Beat comes out. Pulse Bomb out from the other side. Going to be able to help some members get damaged there, but now it's Amadou trying to find some more with his overclock. Does find 1, but Mushroom, Amadou does find 1 with the fist. Makoto trades it right back out, but Mardox, again, going to be able to shut it all down there. The lead now extending here for Iliad Artemis. Early ultimate there from Temper. That makes me think they might be making a swap here. No, they're going to be sticking with this Bastion. Again, especially against this Hog, I think it's not necessarily the worst. Mardox? What happened to you? Axe, though, might be asking the same thing right there as they are just melted down. Amadou finding out 1 more. But still, this is exactly what you're looking for here if you are Iliad Artemis, just going back and forth. Makoto, though! Whew! Keeping their team alive right there with 3. Everyone for Artemis should get forward spawns, but that's a huge kind of play right there, and one you desperately needed. You look over at the other side. Only the Whole Hog to their name. And I like this idea here from Makoto. Just back up. Don't give up an early death. Instead, you find an early kill on the Amadou and Mardox. Just going to be running for their own life. Everyone from Vivacity is back here into this fray, and you're just seeing Iliad Artemis back up. They understand they have the time. They have the lead. They don't need to push this right now, because 1 fight loss at this point could be very, very dangerous. But still, Pain Care doing what they've been doing so good so far this entire map, just being an annoying little pest in the backline, stalling out the cart, trying to find the 1 clip, Fern, though, going in now with their Kitsune Rush, trying to find a little bit more here. Mushroom very low, but they have to pop the whole hog. Actually keep themselves alive, looking for the hook combo. Not going to be able to find it, but yeah, Makoto, that was an idea, but one that might need to go back to the drawing board. But look at this. The map has been flipped right now. Vivacity back at the board here. Mardox now Sunring Blade out here. Look at what it's doing. It's completely denying anyone from getting back. Pain Care, though, does get back. Stalls out the bot there. Overclock, or beat out now from Morlock as you see the artillery. 16 meters and counting with 5 seconds left to go on the time bank. Overtime will commence here no matter what, but Floofy so close to a beat. Pain Care, Pulse Bomb online. What do they find here this time around? The lead, it's 3, it's 2, but you see this Pulse Bomb find the stick, but it's not going to find the pick. Axe with a huge bubble. Makoto going to be able to shut down Amadou there, who's been so big. Beat out from Floofy, going to be able to find Mardox off it. It's less than a meter right now. Makoto trying to keep this all alive. Axe finds Mushroom, that's who your stall was. Pain Care trying to do what they can here. Can they find Axe? Can they find anyone? Again, less than a meter. Axe almost gets taken out, but the grab keeps them alive, and Vivacity comes back to take the series.
The lead is ours. Now preserve it.
Play of the game.
Hippie, I'm banning you. Whew, what a series. What a series it was. I really thought we were going to go to 5 right there. Iliad Artemis looked like to be the better team that entire map, but like I said, with a minute to go, you saw the ult coming right there, really tipped towards Vivacity. And I said it already once this series, somehow, some way, Vivacity finds ways to win these close, nitty-gritty, back and forth scraps of maps. And they do that here. You look at the stats throughout this entire series. The only map they lost was Blizzard World, where, hey, you had Maverick come in, play that hazard. It really gave Vivacity a lot of troubles. And you almost found really the antidote here to be able to shut down Vivacity. Just ban out the Malga, because it really started to work for them early on. But it started changing around that halfway mark of the map, where Vivacity got those forward spawns. You saw Axe get a little bit more confident on that Zarya. And you have to remember, there's a point here in this map where when Iliad Artemis got up to that 96-meter lead, you were seeing Vivacity really just make so many swaps, just trying to find something that would work. They just eventually went back to what they started out on the map with, and it worked out great for them there. Let's take a look here at some of the stats for that final map here. Again, back and forth. Mushroom, did good on the hog. You would only 6,000 damage, but able to do, wow, they had the most healing on their team. Mushroom, I think, did a good job on the hog. Really provided a lot of pressure. I think you didn't see it, like I was saying. I was looking for one of those hook kills, that hook combo. We just never really saw it come out from them. But still, you had Pain Care and Amadou just really do everything here for this team throughout this entire series. Amadou, again, maybe had one of the best series I've seen so far, especially for someone on a losing side. They are a standout for me. Axe did really good. Makoto really picked it up these last 2 maps, especially on this Vendetta. One that, like I said, on Busan really struggled. Went 11-9 that one. These last 2 maps, 21-8 here on map 4, 25-5 on the last map. So really picking it up there. And still at the same time, Morlock and Fern, maybe two heroes that I didn't talk about enough here on that support line. But like me and Hunter always say, if we're not talking about the support line, it means they're really doing their job. And Makoto and Fern, they did so much throughout this series here tonight. Same thing with Mardox on the other side. It seemed like they were always finding ways to get a kill in almost every single fight. Floofy as well. You see it right there. 16, 5, and 19 assists, 22 assists there for Mardox. This really should have been a map, in my opinion, that Iliad Artemis won, but Vivacity just was able to put enough pressure on towards the end to get the victory there. Great series overall for them, and like I said, moves to 4-1 on the season. And one thing that I mentioned at the start of the series, I mentioned it's Wednesday at the end of our series then, if Vivacity wins one more game, gets up to 4 wins, you might be able to say, like, hey, this team's comfortably going to be able to stay here in Masters here next season, because Normally, those teams that are put in those promotion relegation games have 2 or 3 wins. Vivacity off to a hot start to start off this season, 4-1. Iliad Artemis, this looks like a team that should be able to bounce back really quickly. Saw great performances out everyone on this team here tonight, but I think a lot of people are starting to really learn this Vivacity squad is the real deal. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch as the rest of the season goes on, as they still only have about 10 more games left now. So it's going to be really fun. 1/3 of their season is over, 2 more left to go. But that'll pretty much do it for me here tonight. Thank you everyone so much for coming out. Why is it? Yeah. Why is it? Apparently saying GGG in chat is flagging the system, apparently. But yeah, no, Vivacity, I think, is doing great. Iliad Artemis, they should be able to bounce back. The entire team looks very, very strong. 3 tank players on the team is very interesting. But if you get it to work, it can work very, very well. But like I was saying, that will do it for me tonight. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming out. Thank you, Ewan, for the raid. Thank you, everyone who enjoyed the rest of this series. You guys almost saw a 5-mapper. I was really hoping for it as well, but Artemis just was not able to finish the fight there, and Vivacity finds a way to win their 4th one of the season. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. Make sure you tune in next week. We'll all be back over on Hunter's channel, as he was unavailable tonight. I think he's doing something with his family, which, hey, it's Easter. But see y'all next week. Some more FaceIt action. Thank you all so much, and hope you have a good weekend ahead and a safe and happy Easter. Bye, y'all.